Hello, welcome to the Connected Corner. We are so happy that you have joined us this evening. I am your host, Kiana B. Jones, and who do I have with me?
And I'm your girl, Tori Rose, the connector. Hey, y'all, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's our favorite day. It's our favorite day. It's our favorite day. And we're coming
Hey.
back to you. Hey, it's our favorite day. Girl, I'm always ad-libbing. So this is our reconnected show. And we are so excited to be here with a guest that was with us not too long ago, but long enough for us to need to get reconnected. Miss Rasheeda Pinnock. Welcome to the stage.
Hey, ladies. It's so great to be back and connecting with you all. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being
Yes.
here.
We are so excited to have you. And so we wanted to reconnect with you today, have our viewers and our listeners reconnect with you since the last time you've been on the show. You know, as an educator, we know like a lot of things have changed in that world and in that landscape. And so we want to know what's going on with you there, what's going on with you with life, what's happening new in your world. And so let's just start with asking, how have you been?
I've been good. So we're going to have a girlfriend answer, and then I'm going to give you the educator answer. So the girlfriend answer is I'm great because I have accepted the things I cannot change. And honey, I done let some things go. Like
Okay.
I've said no to some things. I've said yes to my piece, and things are good. As far as professionally in the educational realm, of course, a lot has changed, and a lot of me has changed with it for the better. I'm very proud of how just the world of education has just responded to such an unusual experience. But I won't lie and tell you I'm not happy that there are only 24 days left of the school year. I am ready for summer break.
I can only imagine.
Like I'm over here, amen. Where do I sow my seed?
I'm like, I know the parents are tired, the students are tired. Like, we have all worked really hard this year. So it's
That's
good.
that's good. I just that's wonderful. Look, I'm happy for it to be almost over for you, for my sisters, for my nieces, for my nephews, just everybody. Like I've just watched it just kind of go on. I've what we call proctored. My sister called it proctoring. So I proctored for some of the, younger ones in my family while their, moms had to go like switch or have to go in the office. So I proctor their virtual learning, and it's just
Mhm.
very interesting, to say the least, to be on that end. But also, we know you have, your business as well. So talk about like that. How's that moved forward? What products and services are you offering? Is there any new things happening with that?
The business has shifted a lot. So you all know that I am the author and owner of Create, Elevate, Cultivate. I have a little online store, and I say little because it's a part of a much larger website called Teachers Pay Teachers. But in my particular shop, in their store, I am able to sell resources for teachers to use in person and for virtual learning. And I will say that from the time that we last spoke, a lot has changed. I've had a lot of time to reflect on my store and the purpose of my store. And I actually was able to really um, revive my niche. So in my store right now, you won't see what I've been working on for the last 2 months, but I reflected on some of the professional developments that we've had throughout the school year. And I currently teach second grade math. That's the only subject I teach. And it's my passion to teach math. It's what I love to do. And being in a lot of the professional development with other math educators, it occurred to me in many of the things that they stated that even if we weren't virtual, they weren't comfortable teaching math.
Mm.
And when I realized that, I said, that's what I need to do. I need to make something, I need to make a product, a resource that really helps teachers that are just not comfortable teaching math. Because the reality is, we have some teachers that teach every subject. And that doesn't mean that every subject is your favorite. And then also for those teachers who are new to teaching, what does it look like when I step into a third grade classroom and this is a testing grade and I need to make sure that they know these things? How do I do this? So it led me to write my own math curriculum. I have written my first unit. I am super excited. I have sampled it. Yes, love it, sign. I have sampled it with 2 cohorts of students. I've gotten authentic feedback. I've spoken to 2 different teachers about it that are in my think tank, if you will, and gotten some really good feedback from them about things that I can tweak. I am hoping to have the unit that I've worked on posted by the end of this month, and hoping to have more units posted by the start of the school year. So with that being said, I'm excited on the direction that the business is going, because it is one where I want to really change the direction of how we look at math, that it is something that can be done in person. It is something that can definitely be done virtually, but most importantly, it can be done in an engaging and exciting way that not just excites the student, but excites the educator that may not have thought that they had a love for math. So that's what's been going on over here.
Can we just come on, sir? Just
Listen,
oh,
listen.
I decided to write my own math curriculum. So you have, I mean, you just wrapped it up. What has changed? That is a huge change, and I'm just smiling. Like I think my jaws hurt a little bit. That's because I like literally the whole time, like I don't people watching, like what is happening, like because as a math educator, as a math teacher, from literally I understand like teaching high school and middle school math. The holes started in elementary school, elementary, like that 3rd, 4th, and then 6th grade.
Yes, ma'am.
And so, oh my goodness, and part of it is, and it's not to ding like elementary school teachers, but understanding like a lot of times through that up until 3rd, 4th grade, you're teaching so many different subjects.
Yes.
And I understood, even as a parent talking to teachers, they would say it was the math part. Like, even math teachers sometimes don't like teaching math, who have gone to school and got a math degree. So I'm just so, I'm just so excited to hear that.
And I'm beaming. And I want people to understand these are tears. And so what happens is when you see women, sisters, living in their purpose, walking in their purpose, manifesting for the greater good of the earth.
Yeah.
We were like this because that is how you celebrate a sister. You feel like you've hit the lottery. And guess what? I can go and have more babies because I know Aunt Rasheeda has a solution to the problem and a reinforcement. You said reflect, revive, and resource. Girl, you gotta go. I'm going on mute, but you go with your bad self. Congratulations.
Thank you so very much, ladies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're talking about getting reconnected and reconnecting with you. This is why. I mean, to just find out like what is happening now and what you have done, the world needs to know that. Like, this is so awesome. Like, it's so awesome. And so it's like, wow, how do you follow? I decided to write my own math curriculum. Like, what? Girl, go ahead. But so part of, we want to know like what has changed. So we know that's one thing, but then also like with work, how has things changed along, that way we know through the pandemic, a lot of people have decided there has been a mass exodus from education, during this time. And so what things have changed, whether directly for you or indirectly, in that work world for you as well?
So actually, I have not decided to leave the educational field, but I have definitely decided to leave the classroom. And it is not for the reason you think. The conversations that I've had, I actually took on 2 teachers mentoring them this year with math in 4th and 5th grade. And what made me decide that it was time for me to leave the classroom was understanding that I can be more useful to
Mhm.
teachers and students if I'm not just in the classroom because I'm limited. I mean, I'm only one person, I have my own caseload. And so, with that understanding, I finally have come to terms with what people have been speaking into my life for years. I'm like, no, 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 I'm good. I need my summers. Um, but really accepting that, no, this is actually what drives me. This is what I am passionate about. I do not want to see another child of color. I don't care if they're African American, Ethiopian, or whatever. I do not want to see another child have a education that's subpar. I cannot do it. So I decided that it's time for me to leave the classroom. And there are other teachers that have been doing the same thing. One of my colleagues is leaving the classroom. She teaches science for our grade level, and she's leaving to write within the science department for the county. And I just received word this week that I've been accepted to write for the county's curriculum this summer. And so I am moving the way God wants me to move because the doors are open in the way that they should. And I'm just very, very grateful for that. And I do want to say to the educators that may watch this that there are different podcasts that you can listen to, and I'll share those names with Kiana and Tori that can really help you figure out what to do in education if you feel that need to service differently in education. Because I've listened to a couple, and they were pretty awesome in that process. But the school year is going to end, and next school year, right now, PG County is projected to reopen as usual. So there will, of course, we will forever be changing education. The protocols will forever be different. It will never resume normal protocol. It's just like with 9/11. We can't just walk through the airport anymore. So there are some things that are behind the scenes in the works, some policies that are being put into place, especially with the amount of students we have now in the building versus what will be there in the fall. Because right now I only have four students that come into the building. So majority of my students are still online. So there's a lot that needs to go into considering what's different by the fall for the children as they return. But that's what's going on as far as with myself and moving closer to what I'm currently doing with my business. It's one of those things where it's like, come on, God, make it all align, make it all go together where I don't have to work twice as hard because I'm doing two different things. So yeah, that's what's happening in the updates with education right now.
Wow. I think we're just smiling like from the inside out. Because it's as for educators at heart, Tori and I both have made the transition completely like out the classroom. And I always say like from teaching, but I feel like I'm just ultimately always an educator because all I do is train and teach all day. And I'm back in finance and accounting and grant management, but I literally have a class because all of my colleagues on my team know nothing about what I do. So I'm constantly training and educating. And I was told that was one of the reasons I got the position over other financial analysts because I was a teacher. And they knew that the staff was novel, they're young, they're new professionals.
Okay.
And they figured that, I would be able to handle all of their questions and needs.
Which is nice.
And so I was like, wow, so like you said, for those podcasts, for educators who are just looking or seeking, just know that there's more than one way. And so we're just smiling from the inside out, just the whole time. And so you talked about like just some of the shifts and just some of the changes that are going to happen. So what has been some of the greatest challenge that you've had to overcome, like, since the pandemic has hit? We know some of the things have changed in that, and then what have you learned from those things?
So one challenge was accepting how I felt in the pandemic because we all felt differently. As an educator, I'm scrolling Instagram or any social media, and you have several teachers that are saying, oh, what if I were in person? I could do this, and I missed this, that, and the third. And I felt for a minute like something was wrong. Like maybe I need to leave teaching because I'm like, I don't feel that way. And it wasn't because I don't love my students. I love them to death. I'm like, I'm the teacher that's putting together math kits, getting in my car and dropping them off in mailboxes. So it wasn't that, but I came to terms with the fact that I actually enjoyed virtually teaching because I got a chance to combine two of my favorite things, math and technology, and having my kids just thrive, things you wouldn't think a 7-year-old can do. I'm like, no, you're going to make a Mother's Day card on this here internet. Let's get to it. Go ahead and add your colors. You need at least a whole paragraph. I know you love your mother. Let's get it. So those things were motivating for me. But once I really rested in that's how I feel, and I'm entitled to how I feel, I really began to just kind of flourish and let it be and just kind of allow people to feel how they feel. When they shared how they felt, some people were feeling overwhelmed. Other people were feeling like, oh my God, I wish I could be in the building because I just need to talk to an adult. And I'm like, I understand that, especially as a single individual and you're teaching at home, whereas I have an adult here, so I don't have that problem. But that was one of the challenges that I had to overcome. Another challenge was the onslaught of wanting to have multiple meetings because we are not in the building and you're used to being tangible or available. And this has nothing to do with like anything education wise, but as a Pisces woman that was born in March, because there's 4 different kinds, okay? You got male and female in February, male and female in March, 4 different kinds, okay? No, ma'am, I can't do it. And so again, I had to own what I couldn't control, and I had to begin to filter, and I had to start saying, listen, is this something that we can discuss via email? Because I have to turn it off. I, just like the children, have to get away from this computer or I'm going to lose it. I can't teach 3 classes of 20 students and then you want to have a meeting about a thought that you had. No, not today. No, not right now. Let it marinate and then let's have a meeting. So
Yes. And that's so important because that also talks to leadership, right? Leadership styles, the way leadership leverages the strengths of their teams. As for me, I have walked away from education just, for the moment. And I say it that way because something you said that was so pivotal. Who are you working with? Who do you want to become? What are the solutions? I realized that I could be a lot more beneficial to generations of students to come if I had a little more education and I leveraged the leader in me, right? And so I hear what you're saying. I want to know, like, what do you then do when you're feeling burnt out? Or if you can't get out of those meetings and you're like, listen, I'm at my capacity and I feel unmotivated. What have you done?
So in those instances with burnout, because it is real, and I did feel it this year because we didn't have any snow days. We didn't have any 2-hour delays. Like I have worked all 180 days. Okay. Well, that's just with kids. I still got 10 more. So the way that I've handled it is being able to, one, advocate for myself. I have had a couple of meetings with leadership this year. One was to clarify expectations at the very beginning and also make it clear what was going on in our own homes, just in case they weren't, privy to that, because that can happen sometimes. And it wasn't that I needed to go into detail about, hey, I got to take my son here, or any of that, but just being mindful, like, listen, I understand that these are the things that you want us to do, but also let's take into consideration this. And if I want to give my best and ensure that they can still receive the best education, do well on their assessments, and transfer those skills to the next year, which is a testing grade, we have to choose what's going to work best. So there was a lot of negotiation in the beginning. By the middle, I would say probably around February, I had another conversation with leadership, just discussing some of the aha moments and the shifts that I had. So I was very appreciative of them being open to having that conversation, because then we started having the conversation about mental health. And that's when my team and we decided, listen, somebody should be off every week. Take a mental health day. And I took those mental health days to heart. As a matter of fact, I'm off this Friday. And it's so important, more so in this experience than any other, to shut it off. Another thing that I experienced burnout with is not even just in education, just as a mom and as a wife. I had to stop cooking. I was like, listen, I know it's not the healthiest, but I'm tired. I'm not going to nobody's grocery store. I had to even at one point say, listen, you and I need to rotate. You and our son go ahead and go to your sister's house for the weekend. I need some me time. Like, not y'all in another room me time. Like, I need to be at home by myself, me time. And then I'll rotate. I'll get him and we'll go somewhere. We'll go to my mom's house. Whatever we need to do to keep the whole house sane. And I don't think that any of those practices should diminish even when the world opens up.
Oh, that's so powerful. That is so powerful. 2, 3, 4 snaps to you. Anyone who's listening on Facebook, make sure you are following us at The Connected Corner on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and click that bell so you can get notified when we go live. You do not want to miss these great resources right from the hearts and mouths and applicable skills of the experts who are using them. I look at you as someone, Rasheeda, who is truly an expert. Like, you are pushing us all to be better. I jokingly shared the story a little while ago about going from Baltimore County Public Schools to Baltimore City Public Schools, coming to my assignment and finding out, oh, wait, I'm not teaching history, which is what my contract is for. I'm going to be in a math class.
Oh my God.
Wait a minute. And I used to always say, I don't like math and math doesn't like me. And Kiana would always say that's like the wrong thing to say. You like math, you like money, you know numbers, let's figure out what is it that really hinders you from biting into this subject. And it was a confidence issue, right? Many teachers have confidence issues, parents have confidence issues. So, what would you say to someone? What advice would you give to someone who wants to pursue a career like yours, who wants to bite into math, but maybe doesn't have the confidence that they need to really just take that step forward?
There's a couple of things I would tell them. Develop yourself, because just like with anything in this world, it doesn't matter what it is. The more you immerse yourself, the easier it becomes. It's just like swimming or riding a bike. You got to jump in, you got to hop on the bike. You can't do it without that. So when I say immerse yourself, it's okay to check out a book and read it. You don't have to read the whole thing, but read about math instruction, especially for your grade band. Other than that, I would also say with immersing yourself, there are some online classes that you can take through a company called Professional Development Institute. You can take classes from there that are free. Some of them are not, but you can also earn credits. So if you're looking to recertify, that's another resource available to you. But what's awesome about their classes is that they're self-paced. You can determine how you want to take them and finish when you want. I've taken a class when I first had my son. I was taking 2 classes, but I decided to take them over the course of a year. So in the course of that year, I finished those 2 math courses, and they were phenomenal. They're wonderful research articles that they share with you during your work. You read lots of amazing lesson plans from other teachers from other grade levels, which taps into your toolbox. You've got new resources. So I would definitely say saturate yourself a little bit, especially for the thing that gives you a challenge. Like, step up to that plate and say, this is not the thing for me, but I'm going to figure it out so that it becomes a thing for me. The third thing I would say would be find a mentor. Find someone who does teach math and does it well, that you admire. Look at their classroom management, because that speaks volumes to how much they're able to actually get across to their students. But once you find a mentor, whether it's a physical one in person or whether you find one virtually, because there are so many different ways to latch into different teacher groups, whether it's through a podcast, whether it's through Instagram, whether it's through Pinterest. There are so many different ways to really get attached to different educators in different places and really start to delve into the math world and find out how you can bring your personal style to it. Because that's what it's about. It's about you learning the language and then speaking it the way you speak it.
Awesome. 2 snaps to that. And you're so right. And you just read my whole story because that's what I did. I put myself in what I call math college. And so I was like, wow, okay, this is geometry. I had algebra 1 and algebra 2. I had 7 classes and had not thought about math since I was a student myself. But for 4 hours every night, and Kiana will tell you, I learned from her, I learned from other math professionals, people that I could trust, 4 hours every night. And so when I went to school to teach my students, they would say, Miss Rose, you lied to us. You said you don't know math. You don't like math. You're not a math teacher. But I was challenging myself to not only reconnect to those things, but then putting my spin on it. Because if you're teaching math, geometry, if you're teaching history, government, or English, you have your own flair to bring to that classroom.
Right.
So that's awesome. You just read my book. And I'm not saying that because I want to be rehired as a math teacher. Never again, math teacher. But that means anyone could do it. So
that is awesome. And we cute math teachers.
Okay.
My math teachers, none of them.
Okay, you're right. My math teacher, I did have one. I had one in high school. I was like, oh, I like math a little bit.
Yeah, well, they as parents, I'm sure they come to the school when parents come up, especially they be like, my teachers didn't look like y'all teachers look. Like I've heard that so many times. Like this what teachers look like now. I want to come back to school. But so you've actually given us one resource for educators, for those that's looking with the Professional Development Institute. But what are the best resources that you feel that have helped you along the way? And we know you also provide resources to teachers as well. So even some of them are resources you have, created yourself. But what are some of the, best resources that you feel that have helped you along, professionally, personally, along this journey?
So I would say one individual that has really propelled me further into my development and understanding of math and how to actually instruct and read the standards would be Sue O'Connell. She is a published author. She has several math books. She's got them on guided math. She has them by grade level, like math workshop, all the things you could possibly think of. She has a book for it. But we were privileged in PG County that she was a consultant one year. And she ran a very intimate development from, I think we started in September. From September to March, we met with her every month. And she would walk us through understanding every single standard for a particular strand. So if we're talking about fractions, I was in a group with just 3rd grade teachers, and there were 5 of us. And we delved into how do you teach fractions? I mean, we had manipulatives. We were the students. We walked through if this doesn't work, then this. A lot of different scenarios. So I would say that's one resource you don't want to miss. And she does have some videos. So those are helpful as well to review. Another resource that I would say is pretty awesome is another lady. Her name is Jamie Sears. She is the author and owner of the store Not So Wimpy Teacher. She has a podcast, an Instagram, a Facebook group that is out of this world, resources that are out of this world. I will say that she is the person that really propelled me to look further into being a better math teacher, because at the time I was a general educator. But reading her blog posts about how to implement math instruction and the importance of a word wall and the importance of making manipulatives tangible to students at all times so that they could think of the best way to use them. Like, she had such good jewels in her articles. And I do listen to her teacher podcast for Not So Wimpy Teacher, but she also has one for Not So Wimpy Teacher Entrepreneur. So if you are interested in becoming an educator entrepreneur, she also has that one. And I will tell you, every single episode on there, honey, is gold. So those are the two that I would really highlight as far as delving into some literature that you can get behind and really dissect and take off a little bit at a time. They have some really good jewels to share with you.
And so I was so busy. Like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Look, listeners, for those who are, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, we bring you news and resources you can actually use, but you have to use them because we definitely be writing down notes and we're the hosts and we eat up these resources that we get from our amazing guests like Rasheeda. So make sure you are actually going back through and listening. If it's live, if you gotta replay it, if it's replay, you gotta pause it and write it down and put it in your phone. But we want to bring you the news and resources that you can use. And today, Rasheeda has given us a wealth of resources and knowledge for teachers, for education, for teacher entrepreneurs, just mental state and health, and just how to manage and being a mom and an educator and a wife. And so make sure you are using the resources and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're watching on Facebook, go over to YouTube and subscribe. Thank you so much. This has been just great information. And I'm telling you, like, I'm still smiling, you know. I don't think I have smiled so much during the show, but this has been awesome, and we thank you for reconnecting with us. And so, you know, Tori, any last questions, words?
This is just amazing. Rasheeda, can you tell the followers and the viewers how we can get connected and how they can stay connected to you?
Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram. My account is at Create, Elevate, Cultivate. I am also on Pinterest. You can find me there. Also, Create, Elevate, Cultivate. I have a teacher store on Teachers Pay Teachers with the same handle, Create, Elevate, Cultivate. And then I also have a blog, which is createelevatecultivate.com. And I will keep you ladies posted on when my curriculum is posted, my first unit, as well as keep your hands crossed and pray up a little bit because I'm hoping to also post it on Amazon simultaneously. So I will let you know when that drops. And then that will be an additional resource that will truly help, especially those first-year teachers or teachers who are not confident in their math abilities. It is a resource that you can use, like, as soon as you purchase it, start teaching that unit day one. The lessons are there. You don't have to recreate anything. It is all done for you.
Wow. So for anyone who's listening, who knows a teacher or a principal, I have some principal friends and associates that I will be sure to connect you to and to drop their information right into YouTube or Facebook, however I'm watching and however I'm viewing. Make sure you drop and tag a teacher or principal, especially if you know someone who's teaching elementary school math. We want to make sure that this resource not only hits the ground running on Amazon and different platforms, but hits the community and hits our school and lands in our students where it deserves to be. So thank you so much. I'm Tori Rose, the Connector. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram at Tori Rose, the Connector. Anything positive is me. Anything negative is not me. So Kiana, how can we find you?
You can find me on social media as well as Kiana B. Jones, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, all of those wonderful places. Kiana B. Jones.
Awesome, guys. This is the Connected Corner. Be sure to follow us and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Connected Corner. And we'll see you on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's been real. Peace.
Peace.